All right, everyone. Tom Holland here, coming to you from Jackson Hole, Wyoming. I am the owner and director of Wilderness Adventures, and we are so thrilled to bring this mini webinar to you this evening. It is for all parents and kids of first-time campers. We call it first-time camper and first-time away from home. It's tips and tricks for parents and guardians and kids who are prepping for their first ever adventure with us. Now, to the kids on the call who are prepping for their first time on a Wilderness Adventures trip or camp program with us, here's what you got to know. I hate to even think about it, about 30 years ago, I was just a 15-year-old living in Springfield, Illinois. I had never done an outdoor program before, and I was prepping for my Wilderness Adventures trip. Now, this is before the days of cell phones, and I got on an airplane and I left my parents at home. And 3 weeks later, I came back having had the most amazing experience. And what is crazy is that was my first ever time away from home. Now, I'd spent the night at friends' house, I'd gone to my grandparents and aunts and uncles, but I had never done something like this. And I had nerves during that time, and I had such an amazing experience because there was some challenges to get over trying to work through some of those nerves of going on that first ever adventure. I didn't go with any friends and met the best possible people. And I stand in front of you today being someone who has had homesickness and conquered it and had the most amazing time on my trip. And to the parents who are on this call too, I have 4 children of my own, and I know that I am the guy who runs all the Wilderness Adventures programs. I do know that, but I believe that camp space is sacred. So then when my kids participate in our programs, I stay out. I do not peer in to say, how are they doing? How's it going? I want to have a pure experience as a parent to make sure that they have the very best time. And so, of my 4 kids, they have participated in 11 separate adventures with us. And each one of them has overcome different challenges so that they have their own wonderful time. And each one of them went on trips without friends. And each time, even though I'm the guy, I have that little heart flutter when I put them on that airplane to go on that adventure to the wild places that Wilderness Adventures goes. So to all the people that are listening on this call, parents and kids, I've been there. I know what you're feeling, and we're going to help you through this. So we're going to walk you through this. And what we're going to cover is why this first time always feels big for everyone. We're going to talk about how we at Wilderness Adventures support first-time campers. We're going to talk about how you can prepare at home, and we're going to talk about when to step in, parents, and when not to. So let's dive into it. Why this step is so important. Oh my gosh. So kids, you have spent your life and you are going through, life right now. And so much of your life is programmed by your mom and dad. I know that tonight, after I get done with this webinar, I'm picking up a child from basketball. I'm dropping off another one at an after-school activity. And then I'm heading home and I'm making dinner for him with my wife, Catherine, who runs all these programs with me and helps govern all of our kids and what they do. Our kids rely on us, and kids, you rely on your parents. Now, to be fully independent, to get ready for those college years or even those high school years, and to feel confidence in yourself, you're going to need some experiences where you venture off on your own without mom and dad right there to help you out along the way. Now, on your adventures, it's best to have great role models around you, and you'll have that through Wilderness Adventures. It's best to go in places that are going to be super fun and super adventurous, and that's what Wilderness Adventures is as well. These experiences for you are going to, the number one thing kids say they get out of our trips, what they're going to do is they're going to give you a bunch of new friends. Our kids say the number one thing they get is friends. And you're going to go home and you're going to have this connectivity with all these people from around the country and around the globe. And it's so cool. And that social confidence is going to spill over into the rest of your school year. It's going to be amazing. And then you're going to form some resilience along the way too. You're going to be able to say, oh my gosh, I hiked the Teton Crest Trail, or I was up in Alaska, or I was fly fishing in Montana. And I stepped out of my comfort zone and I did this thing and I did this thing successfully and I can see where I've come from. And now I can do all these things in my world, whether that's try out for a sports team or excel at different activities at school, or maybe take on a new job at home. These things provide you with something we call resilience, and it's going to make you a better person, and that's big. It's going to give you different perspectives on different parts of the world and different people too. Our campfires are great for hearing perspectives of other students. And when you have a campfire where there are kids who everyone came from different walks of life, it's so great. And you're going to have a perspective on living without your phone for a week to 2 weeks to 3 weeks to 4 weeks. That's a new perspective, and you're going to feel that much more confident in yourself. And you're going to be able to express yourself in new and positive ways. And so this will be big. This will be big for you. And for the moms and dads out there, the guardians, the grandparents, the brothers and sisters, it will feel big for you too. And it will be a big moment for you when your child goes off with us onto that airplane and you say, we'll see you in 3 weeks, and we won't talk to you during that time. It will be great for you though. You're turning your child over to a trusted organization that's been around for over 50 years and has been trusted by over 40,000 families in the United States. They got a great reputation, and your child is going to be adventuring and having fun and growing their resilience and going down the trail. And all the while, you're going to be getting updates along the way. And you are going to be taking a step towards that moment where they go off on their own to college or somewhere else beyond. And you're making that relationship and that transition for you that much easier. And what our parents tell us is that our kids come back feeling more confident in themselves, more resilient, wanting to do more chores, wanting to get more involved. And that's what you're in store for. So this step is big. We get it. And it's going to be wonderful. And how we know it's big. So we work to support all of our first-time campers in a variety of different ways. So first, we work on pre-trip communication. And I think one of the biggest things that you get when you get Wilderness Adventures is there's lots of different companies you can choose from in our space, right? But you choose us. And we're kind of on the more boutique side where we don't have thousands of kids come through our program. We really dedicate ourselves to knowing the kids that are on our programs. And so first and foremost, anytime parents or kids want to give us a call, you can get your kids and parents right up to me to make sure, hey, is this the right program for me? Tell me, get me excited for this. And our staff is always here to answer those questions and get you pumped up about the trip ahead. You're going to get a lot of communication from us. We're going to give you a lot of forms on what to expect. We want the whole experience to be clear on what you might see. That's down to the fact that some days it'll be sunny and some days it'll be rainy. If you're in Alaska, that sun will be out for many hours of the day, and you might experience some fog and rain along the way, but we want you to bring those eye protection at night so that darkness can cover those eyes. We want you to have the right gear, and we're going to make sure that you get that through our pack list. There's going to be a lot of pre-trip communication so that parents and kids know what they're in store for. So the minute you hit the ground from that airplane or you drive up to your destination, you know where the group is and you know what to expect. And that goes down to our trip leaders will be calling parents before trips, making sure folks feel at home with who they're going to be arriving to. It's really important that we create that sense of community right off the bat. Community is who we are, and it starts well before the trip. On the trip, we focus on a few things. Number one, making sure there's small groups. This is what makes us different from all other major summer camps where there might be 200 or 300 kids in a group. For us, there's 12 to 15 kids. And in those small groups, you will be supported by all. Now, here's what's great. What's also wonderful is the spirit of having new kids is a part of who Wilderness Adventures is. So my daughter, my eldest daughter, who's now a freshman in college, and her transition to college was so seamless because of her experiences on trips with Wilderness Adventures. She always said, yes, when she was on her third trip, she was like, with Wilderness Adventures, she would say, yes, I didn't know anybody on my third trip, but it was always, and yes, I have been there before, but it's always great to have new people doing trips. And that happens through senior year of high school. There's always new kids on trips doing their first ever program, which is so cool. Right off the bat, we're going to call mom and dad from your cell phone. We're going to take that phone, store it away, and then right off the bat, you're going to dive into icebreakers and intentional bonding. During that time, you're going to get to know everyone in your group really well. There's not going to be an awkwardness in that first little bit. We're going to really make sure that you become a part of our community right off the bat. And that helps with that transition to that first ever experience. And then right off the bat, you'll start with one-on-one check-ins with our staff. Now, our staff, they're amazing folks, and they make the transition awesome themselves. Many are returning to us. Most of them have worked in the outdoor industry before. All of them have worked with youth. So they're great people that you can go to and you can talk to and are approachable. And they're going to be checking in with you probably more than you want, right? They're going to say, how are you doing? How is this going for you? What are your goals for the summer? And they're going to really focus on that as you go through your first ever trip with us. Even if this is your fifth or sixth trip, they'll do the same thing with you. So we really work hard to support all of our kids and making that transition. And parents, we're always there to answer any of your phone calls, any of your concerns as the trip gets going. So let me make sure. So on this, let me get back here. Okay, perfect. So what we need from kids, this is really important. What we need from kids before you arrive, there's some things that you can really make sure you have before you arrive. First of all, you need an interest in participating. That is really important. And we ask kids that when they're like thinking about doing this. We don't want kids that be forced to do this. We want kids that want to try. Now, here's the deal. Kids out there, mom or dad might be giving you a little nudge. They might be giving you a nudge because they've been through life and they know what is good for you, right? What is a good opportunity for you? And you might say, oh my gosh, this makes me nervous. That's going to be okay. There is so many other kids going through that same experience as you are, but a willingness to try new things, that's really, really important. And an interest in attending. You got to be open to new experiences, right? You got to be open to trying new things, and you have to have a positive attitude. Okay. I remember on one of my trips, the time that I laughed the most with the kids on my Wilderness Adventures trip was when we were in this area where the bugs were really bad near this pond in the middle of the backwoods of Wyoming, and the bugs were really bad, and we were laughing so hard. And it was such a positive experience when things could have been a little bit negative. And it was because everyone came with that positive spirit. We all dove into our tents, zipped them all up, made sure that we were away from those suckers. But I remember that distinctly, and that positive energy was something that will carry our trips. What you don't need is you don't need any prior travel experience. I had never heard of the Tetons. I was from Springfield, Illinois, never heard of the Tetons, never seen them before, saw the catalog, said, I got to go there. I went there. I'd never been west of the Mississippi. And so I hadn't had the experience. And I remember being like, my parents saying, well, you don't know anything about the outdoors. You don't know anything about fleece or hiking boots or puffy vests. And I was like, it says you don't need to know. And we will teach you everything. You do not need to have outdoor expertise. We will teach you everything you need to know. We will have some kids that come with an immense amount of expertise, but most kids are going to be new to the area that they're traveling in. And so you don't need to have that big outdoor experience. You also don't need to have a friend going with you. Sometimes it happens. There's a cousin going, there's a friend on my trips. I never had a friend going on my kids' trips. They have never gone with a friend. Sometimes there's been overlap on returning. There's kids come back year after year at times. Everyone is always welcome. They might meet someone that has been on a similar trip to them, but you don't need a friend going with you. And let me just tell you this. You will feel so empowered by what you have accomplished when you go alone. Not to say those kids who have signed up with a friend, not to say that's a bad thing, but I'm telling you, when you go home and you say, I did this thing and I went by myself, it is so very impactful. Parents, I know that there can be some strength in numbers where you say to yourself, oh my gosh, I want the experience. And so I'm going to get my neighbors and my friends and my kids, classmates involved too. We love that. That's great. We can accommodate those things. But in the same breath, strength in numbers, we can make sure that you know other families that have participated in Wilderness Adventures programs that will say this is a great program for kids. Okay. And what they also don't need is zero nerves. Gang, it is totally okay to have some nerves. It is totally okay. So if you have those right now when you're hearing me talk, if you have those on the day that you're leaving, that is so normal. And it's even normal for kids to come back year after year. You're doing something out of the box. You're doing something that could be a little bit challenging for you. If you had zero nerves, I'd be a little bit nervous about you, right? It will take, you'll be a little bit nervous going into this experience, and that is okay. At home, we ask parents to normalize the feelings that exist. Okay. We want you to normalize those feelings because these, just like I said, having some nerves is a healthy thing. And homesickness is normal and very common. And I am a survivor of homesickness. And parents, what you do need to know is that all of our kids will be writing a postcard home. And oftentimes, and they will be writing a postcard home within the first 3 or 4 days. And what you got to know, I have been in the industry, in the camping industry, for over 20 years. And what I can tell you is that first postcard home will often pull at your heartstrings as parents. Save it for the baby book, okay? Because the tenor will change over time. And we are experts on homesickness. It is super normal. Most of our kids go through some aspect of homesickness with us, and we train our staff on how to work through this. We often do not call families over just homesick issues. We won't do that. We will call families on things like when our child is going to urgent care or is ill, or something has happened that we've changed the itinerary. But homesickness issues is so common that we likely won't reach out to you for those issues. Parents, you got to help them with, let them know that nerves are healthy. Let them know that excitement and fear are similar, and it can happen. You can have both feelings, and that we believe in this growth. The experience you're going to have sometimes on our trips will be a little bit uncomfortable. And it starts in that first time where you're saying, oh my gosh, I'm packing the bag. I can't believe I'm doing this thing. You will be better off for it. It is so fun. It is so fun. We put together these experiences, and you're so lucky. You should turn to your parent right now and say, thank you for sending me on this, because this is such a great adventure. Homesickness support, we have, our staff is trained in how to support homesickness. If you can believe it, the camping industry is very big, very vast, and we actually attend to conferences, and we do curriculum updates and make sure that we know how to handle homesickness in today's day and age. And so we're well on top of that. We handle this in a variety of different ways. I mean, some of that starts well before, so the students know who they are meeting when they're going to be arriving at the airport. Some of it happens in the minute our students show up. Often it is about keeping kids busy throughout the day, making sure that they get tired. So our first few days are stacked with activities. Stacked with activities because when you're active, you don't have the downtime where, oh my gosh, I'm resting and I get into that homesickness funk. And once you get over those first 2-3 days, then you find the groove. Okay. As I said earlier, we don't immediately call parents for homesickness, and most of our kids work their way through it. If there was some sort of greater issue, right, mental health, something like this, we would obviously reach out to parents, but it is not just for homesickness. So a child may come home just like I did and said, oh my gosh, the first few days were really tough and I missed you a lot. But then I found my groove and I got over it. And that is always a wonderful thing to hear as a parent. We do involve parents sometimes, but it's only in the most major of situations. And by the way, we want kids to be happy and healthy no matter what, right? We want them to be in great spaces. It is in the rarest of occasions that we would reach out to parents to make a plan with them about homesickness, but it occasionally does happen, and we will reach out if that is the case. What we need from our parents is pretty simple, is to speak to their kids with confidence, and let them know how much before their trip, how much you believe in what they're doing. We kindly ask you to avoid saying, if you don't like it, we'll come and get you. Mom and dad, these words, they only put an imprint in a child's head that is hard to live up to. And homesickness is really tough. And kids will remember that phrase and they will say in the first day or two, I'm done. My mom's going to come pick me up. Okay. So we want to avoid those phrases. Obviously, we want the best for kids. We want the best for kids. So we never want to hold them against their will to do anything. And what we do is we are challenged by choice. So they get to choose the things they want to do. That being said, we have seen over time the kids can get through those experiences of the first few days. And setting them back with a phrase like that can be detrimental to their overall success. We want you to frame nerves as normal. I totally hear you that you're nervous. That's pretty normal. I'm nervous too. We're going to miss you, right? We're going to miss you. Our house is not going to be the same without you, but 2 weeks is not too long. And we can't wait to hear about all your adventures when you get back. And for you to model calm energy when you are wishing them well. I got to tell you, moms and dads out there, there hasn't been a time where I've sent a child off on a wilderness adventures trip and I run the organization where there isn't a tear coming from my eye when I'm in the car after I've wished them to have a wonderful adventure. I miss them. I love them. And I got the nerves in my heart too. In the same breath, we need to model that calm energy of being like, you can do this. I believe in you, and have so much fun. So, key takeaways from this. Nerves and homesickness. We're wrapping this up. Nerves and homesickness are normal, and we're going to be there for you. We're going to be there for you. For kids, if you have it, we will be there for you. And if you don't, we may ask you to help with somebody else who does have homesickness. And by the way, homesickness is a great thing. It's a great thing because you miss some place you love. It's really important. And we're going to help you get through that. If you're on the fence and you're nervous and you're a kid, let's talk. And you're a parent, let's talk. We're here for you and we can talk those things through. The earlier you register, the easier it is to get your top choice trip. So right now is the time where people might be nervous and they're like, oh my gosh, do we do this or not? Well, if you want to pick that first trip, right now is the time to enroll. Most of our spots are full on many of our trips. We do have some availability. We encourage you to call us, explore our trip list, find out from our references, and obviously we are always happy to answer any questions that you might have. So I want to thank you all. I'm open to some questions right now if there's any out there, and I can take these. You can put them in the chat. That's the easiest way to do it. And I can answer those questions for anybody that might have one. Okay, so they're coming into me. Okay, so the question I have is from a dad's point of view, what are some tips? Any tips that you haven't mentioned here from a parent's point of view? Well, here's something I've done for all my kids, and I think that this is one of the best things that I have done, and it's kind of become a tradition in our family. Because we don't do mail pickups anymore because kids aren't with us long enough to get to the mail doesn't get to these remote locations. I always say, I give kids letters and I have them give them a letter a week. And it's just a one pager that I tell them the date they can open the letter on. And my kids have really said that they love those letters and they keep them so long, which is so great because in our world of text messages and emails and things like that, they're not keeping those things. But the letters I know sit in a box of theirs, and my wife and I both do this for them when they're on trips. They say it's a great moment. It picks them up. It gets them going. We talk about the things that we're proud of them for, and how we can't wait to see them. We try not to say things like, we miss you so much, right? Like, you're missing all the fun of summer. We don't say things like that. We just say, we're so proud of what you're doing right now. So those letters are important. We got a question that is about food. Food, first of all, we know that food is really an important topic, especially when it comes to homesickness. Okay, so we're going to find foods that kids want to eat, and kids get a say in the meals that we're planning. And so, kids, if you're out there, please, you got to vocalize those things. And so, if there's a picky eater that's out there, first of all, relax, don't worry. We've seen many picky eaters come through the program. We're going to work with you to say, what do you like to eat? What's out there that might be something you want to eat? You do have to get calories in the day. We want you eating food. And so we're going to work with you on those things and make sure that we find some meals that you like to eat. And we're going to find those snacks that you like and the things that will be that will be great for you. And that our staff is cognizant of that, and we're really going to work hard to make sure all of our kids are eating great food that they enjoy. So, yes, question about living quarters. It totally comes up. If you've never shared a room before, right? Uh, our tents, which are 2-person or 3-person tents, they might feel a little tight for that first time. First and foremost, they're so great to make friends. It is such a bonding experience, and you're gonna really get to know your tent mate, and those tent mates get switched around, so you'll have multiple tent mates throughout your time with us. Um, and you guys will talk about how you want to set up your tent and how you have that experience with each other. Oftentimes there'll be like a line that's drawn, right? I know that some groups have said, okay, this side's my side. There's going to be plenty of room in that tent, okay, for all your stuff. There'll be a vestibule too, where you put your backpack and things like this, and your bags. But that tent, because of our activities being so robust in the first few days, that tent will probably be the place where you sleep, and that's about it, right? So you'll go there and you'll fall asleep very quickly in those first few days as we get rolling, and that'll become like your home. But I've always fallen in love with my tents and my tent mates, so it'll be a great experience for you. Okay. Well, folks, super fun. Thanks for being here. As always, our staff is always available to answer any of your questions. And kids, one of my favorite things to do is to come see you on the trail. I hope to see you this summer. Can't wait. We'll see you on down the trail. And thanks everybody for being here. Take care. Bye bye.